Good morning, everybody. It is time to be your best you. And of course, when you think about coaches, especially nowadays, what are we thinking about? We're thinking about football coaches. Of course, they coordinate, they instruct, they motivate, they inspire players to be their best. But what about a coach that does something a little bit different? Maybe a midlife courage coach. Do we happen to know one of those? Yeah, we do. It's Sheree Clark from Fork in the Road. She is joining us right now. Good morning, Sheree. How are you?
Good morning, Lou. I'm absolutely fabulous.
You are always absolutely fabulous, but we're talking about coaches this morning, and there's more than just sports coaches, aren't there?
There are definitely more than just sports coaches. And what you're talking about in my world, I'm a midlife courage coach. So I have a really interesting life and career.
All right, so explain what exactly a midlife courage coach does and who needs a midlife courage coach.
Absolutely. So most of us have heard the term life coach.
Yes.
And so a midlife courage coach is a really kind of a subset of life coach. So a life coach helps you with all of the things that you're facing in your life. Let's say you're a new parent and you're trying to figure out the landscape of parenthood, or let's say you're looking for new love. And so you might go to a love or romance coach that could also help you with your relationship. In my world, a midlife courage coach helps with those very things that face us or that we face when we get to that point of life that I call midlife. And that would be typically chronologically anything over 40.
Okay. Now, how is this different from, say, maybe somebody that you go to, maybe get a little counseling from or a little guidance from? How is this different than that?
So therapy, psychotherapy, counselors, those sorts of professionals are very valuable, and they help us with things. Typically, the way that I describe it is the therapists, analysts would look in the rearview mirror, would look to see, how did we get to this point? What happened in your childhood that might have created this situation that you have now? Or what is it that in your past that has brought you to this point? A coach is more looking out the windshield and saying, here's where we are right now, where are we going? So it's a little bit about goals and direction and where are we exactly headed? And that's where I spend most of my time. Doesn't mean I don't look out the rearview mirror, but it means that I spend more time looking out the windshield.
All right, so just like coaches do in football, for example, you're going to practice so the future is a little bit more promising, and that's what you are hoping to do, right?
Exactly. And just like with your analogy with the football coach, might want to know about a past injury, might want to know about some history that you have so that we can plan the strategy to make the most of your strengths and to downplay your weaknesses.
All right, so how does this work? Do you give advice or what do you do?
So typically what I do when I meet with a new client is I'll ask them what their goals are. What is it why do you feel that you need some assistance? Sometimes the answer is, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just here because something isn't feeling right. That's a perfectly okay reason to see a coach. So what I do is I don't typically, quote, give advice. What I do is I'll help a client suss out what it is that they want and how it is they might want to get there. I do that by asking questions. I might give assignments. I might make suggestions about new ways of thinking or strategies. I might even suggest that they talk to someone else other than me to have a conversation to explore some other way of achieving an end.
Now, you've been doing this for quite some time, but is there any one thing in particular that seems to be an obstacle in people looking ahead and having a promising future ahead of them?
I think the big thing is fear that people are oftentimes, particularly when we reach midlife, we feel as though maybe our best years are behind us and we're afraid to put ourselves out there. We might think we're too old or that it's not possible for us or that nobody in our family has ever done that. So why would we think that we could? So there's the fear of putting yourself out there and maybe risking failure. That's one area. I think another one would be just basically just kind of the sensation of, I don't know what I'm doing. It's new. I'm not used to being a beginner. Maybe by the time you've gotten to be midlife, you're really good at your career. So you feel like you're really competent in that area. And then when it's time to look at something new, you're not used to being a novice. And so that's where I can help.
It's almost for some people like starting over. You know, you might have 20 or 30 years under your belt in a certain profession, and you need to reinvent yourself, and you don't know where to go.
Exactly. And the reinvention part, if you can have somebody standing next to you, assuring you that it's going to turn out okay and helping you to get there, somebody with a little bit of skin in the game, but not so much that they're trying to direct you, that's where a coach can be helpful.
All right, let's talk about skin in the game since you brought that up. I know, a coach like of you, like of your status, is that covered by insurance at all? Because boy, that would be beneficial to have people in the right mental state to move forward.
Typically, it is not covered by insurance, but there's good news. If you're employed, I would say probably a significant percentage, maybe 30% of my clients receive support from their employers. The employer will treat it oftentimes as professional development. And in this, the arena that we're in now with a pandemic, so there's restricted travel and professional conventions are terminated or postponed for a whole year. A lot of times the employer will say, since we can't send you to convention, we don't have that expense, we can cover you to get a little bit of coaching because all of the areas of life that I deal with impact the employee. If you're happy in your life, you're a much better employee. So very often, all you have to do is ask and your employer will cover, if not the entire thing, then a portion of it.
Oh, what a great idea. That never even crossed my mind on something like that. All right, so people need to put together some packages because obviously the employer might say, well, what are you talking about? And you say, well, I have this friend, Sheree Clark, and she's able to give us, a little bit of coaching here. Where can they go? What can they do to have that information at their fingertips?
So reach out to me because I've got experience in this and helping you to put together the pitch to your employer. And you could reach out to me by going to my website, which is fork-road.com, or just email me, info@fork-road.com. And I'm happy to help you, one, discover whether or not a coach is actually your solution, and then two, see if there's a way to get that funded.
Well, that is awesome. Great advice, as always, Sheree Clark. And Coach, put me in. I'm ready to play.
You're in, Lou.